From Sheldon Artwell to Amelia Ashanti Artwell, a journey of becoming. There are moments in life when a person stands at the doorway of yesterday and tomorrow, holding the memories of who they have been while reaching toward the person they are becoming. Some transitions are written on documents, some are spoken aloud, and others begin quietly within the deepest chambers of the heart. The transition from Sheldon Artwell to Amelia Ashanti Artwell is more than a change of names. It is a story of identity, transformation, courage, and becoming. It is the turning of a page without tearing away the chapters that came before. It is the recognition that a person can honor their past while embracing a future that speaks more truthfully to who they are. Sheldon Artwell represents a chapter of the journey, a name carried through seasons, experiences, memories, challenges, relationships, dreams, disappointments, and lessons. That name belongs to a history that cannot simply be erased, because every chapter of life contributes something to the story. But then came Amelia Ashanti Artwell. A name can sometimes feel like a doorway. When that doorway opens, we may discover a reflection of ourselves that has been waiting patiently to be acknowledged. Amelia Ashanti Artwell is not merely a replacement of one name with another. It represents an awakening, a declaration, and a deeply personal step toward authenticity. Amelia carries the sound of a new beginning. Ashanti carries the rhythm of heritage, strength, dignity, and identity. Artwell remains a thread connecting the past, present, and future. Together, these names form something deeply meaningful, a name that speaks not only of where the journey began, but also of where the journey has led. There is no shame in saying, "I have changed." There is no weakness in saying, "I have discovered something new about myself." There is no betrayal in saying, "The person I am becoming deserves to be recognized." Life is not a straight road. We travel through valleys and climb mountains. We lose pieces of ourselves and find others. Sometimes we spend years answering to a name, an identity, or an image that no longer reflects the person growing inside us. And then, one day, the soul whispers, "It is time. It is time to step forward. It is time to embrace the name that feels like home. It is time to let the world meet the person who has been waiting beneath the surface." The transition from Sheldon Artwell to Amelia Ashanti Artwell, therefore, becomes a message of courage. It says that identity can evolve. It says that becoming is not something to fear. It says that a person's journey deserves room to breathe, grow, and change. Perhaps Sheldon was the name carried through one season, while Amelia Ashanti is the name being carried into another. And perhaps there is beauty in understanding that neither chapter has to be treated with hatred. The past can be honored without being lived in. The old name can be acknowledged without allowing it to define the future. The memories can remain while the identity moves forward. There is a profound kind of freedom in choosing to introduce yourself to the world again. My name is Amelia Ashanti Artwell. Those words can become more than an introduction. They can become a declaration. A declaration that says, "I am still here. I have grown. I have learned. I have survived. I have changed. I have listened to the deepest parts of myself. And now I am choosing to walk forward as the person I understand myself to be." The journey toward Amelia Ashanti Artwell may not always be easy. Change rarely is. There may be questions from others. There may be people who remember the former name and struggle to understand the transition. There may be moments when explaining the journey feels exhausting. But transformation does not require everyone's permission. Sometimes the most important conversation is the one we have with ourselves. And perhaps this transition is an invitation to make peace with every version of the person who came before. To look back at Sheldon with compassion. To say, "Thank you for carrying me this far. Thank you for the experiences. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the seasons of uncertainty. Thank you for the moments of strength. Thank you for surviving the days that seemed impossible. Thank you for making it to this doorway." And then, with gratitude rather than bitterness, to turn toward Amelia Ashanti and say, "Now it is your turn. Your turn to dream. Your turn to create. Your turn to speak. Your turn to heal. Your turn to write new chapters. Your turn to walk boldly into spaces where your presence matters. Your turn to become. There is something poetic about a name containing a person's past and future at the same time. Artwell remains like a bridge, connecting what was with what is becoming. Amelia Ashanti rises upon that bridge like the sunrise after a long night. The journey does not mean that everything before Amelia disappears. Instead, it means that everything before Amelia becomes part of the foundation upon which Amelia stands. The scars become lessons. The memories become pages. The struggles become testimony. The dreams become seeds. And the name becomes a banner beneath which a new chapter can unfold. Perhaps one day, someone will ask, "Who is Amelia Ashanti Artwell?" And the answer will not simply be a name. It will be a story. A story about courage. A story about self-discovery. A story about refusing to remain imprisoned by expectations. A story about having the bravery to recognize that becoming yourself can sometimes require introducing yourself to the world all over again. Amelia Ashanti Artwell is not a name that needs to apologize for existing. It is a name that deserves to be spoken with confidence. It deserves to be written on the cover of books. It deserves to appear on pages of accomplishment. It deserves to be attached to dreams, creativity, service, purpose, and love. It deserves to be carried forward. And as this new chapter begins, may Amelia Ashanti Artwell walk with the understanding that transformation is not always about becoming someone completely different. Sometimes transformation is simply the courage to finally allow the world to see who you have become. May this transition bring peace where there was confusion. May it bring confidence where there was uncertainty. May it bring freedom where there were limitations. May it bring authenticity where there were expectations. And may the name Amelia Ashanti Artwell become a beautiful symbol of a life continually unfolding. Because names are powerful. They are spoken over us. They are written beside our accomplishments. They appear in our stories. They become part of the way the world remembers us. But ultimately, the deepest meaning of a name comes from the life we choose to live beneath it. So let Sheldon Artwell remain a respected chapter in the book of the past, while Amelia Ashanti Artwell becomes the name written across the pages of the future. Not as an erasure, not as a rejection, but as an evolution, as a sunrise, as a rebirth of purpose, as a declaration of becoming. And when the world asks why the name changed, perhaps the simplest answer is also the most powerful. Because I discovered more of myself. Because I listened to my heart. Because I chose to honor the person I am becoming. Because this is my journey. Because this is my story. Because this is the name through which I now choose to walk into the future. Sheldon Artwell was a chapter. Amelia Ashanti Artwell is the continuing story. And the story is not ending. It is beginning again, with courage in the heart, hope in the hands, and a new name carried proudly